What's up, y'all? It's your girl Cornelia back with another episode of Black News, a podcast where we break down current events, hot topics, and local stories involving Black people. Now let's get into it. So I should have waited till this week to talk about Ryan Coogler, y'all. I should have actually okay. I should have paused. Had I known that more Ryan Coogler content would have came out, I would have held. I wouldn't have talked about my favorite director. I would have just chilled. So I'm gonna circle back quickly because I don't want y'all to get topic fatigue. But I feel like this part of the conversation around Ryan Coogler needs to be brought up just for the sake of Black people, Black culture, and a knowledge transfer. So, of course, Ryan Coogler is my favorite director. Okay. If you didn't listen last week, you heard it this week. That's my favorite director. He is preparing and on a press run along with Michael B. Jordan, Haley Stansfield, and a bunch of other artists, Delroy Lindo, and whoever else is in the movie. One of the most diverse casts I've seen, by the way. But they are on a press run because Sinners, the movie written and directed by Ryan Coogler, is coming out April 18th. But the main reason I'm circling back is because, in addition to all of the interviews that have been done, the questions and additional context we've gotten about Ryan Coogler's relationship with Chadwick Boseman and his experience working with him. Rest in peace, Chadwick. We love us some Chadwick over here on Black News. Ryan Coogler essentially went viral doing a Kodak film explainer about the differences between different film types and his movie being shot in IMAX and explaining different movie theaters and how people can watch the movie in different ways. So for context, movies going to movie theaters is not what it was. People ain't going. We know it. Movie theaters have been trying to think of new and innovative ways to bring back people into the space versus people watching at home via streamer. And honestly, we know this, especially if you remember going to the movies up until, I would say, right around when the last when Endgame came out, Avengers Endgame. There were moments where you knew you were going to get a different experience going into the movie theater. You just weren't. And I'm saying Endgame because the movie going experience was already on a decline, but Marvel was single handedly keeping us going for those particular movies. But just the overall decline in content has been happening for many years. If you sit here, I want y'all to think about the movies that you saw at the theater as a child and as a teenager, and think about the types of movies that are in theaters now. It could be weeks before any or months before anything worth seeing hits the movie theater. Now, that's not to say that movies aren't released every week, but there has been a drastic decline in the number of movies that have been released on a weekly basis. And also, the quality just isn't there. We also have changed our expectations when it comes to content because now, and this could be due to superhero franchise and big blockbuster movies, we don't see in theaters just good old fashioned movies. When you talk about the 1990s, The Fugitive, I was rewatching The Fugitive the other day. Quality entertainment, okay? Harrison Ford running through the streets of Chicago trying to figure out who killed his wife as he escaped from prison. Quality programming, okay? That things like that, Sleeping with the Enemy, Hand That Rocks the Cradle. You like those were just regular weekend movies that you went to see because it looked good. We don't have those types of experiences in person. You can get that on streaming, but with all the streaming platforms, we have seen the market being oversaturated with content from that perspective. So what Ryan Coogler has done this past week by taking 10 minutes to explain different types of film, what types of movie are shot on said types of film, what the different screen sizes means, the ratios, the experiences that you can get, whether it be 4DX, IMAX, so on and so on. That literally went viral. And it connected with people who don't even care or didn't know they cared about film on a deeper level, all the way down to the movie nerds. But what I love about it, and I hope it did, I hope it inspired a new wave of storytellers who are more relatable to us. Because when you think about directors, a lot of directors have this persona that they're untouchable, quirky. And I say a lot, I'm talking about usually the ones who are not black. Because there's so many white directors, you can have different levels of obscurity within that. But black directors, they essentially become the celebrities because it's so rare for black people to get the opportunity to create films on a high level. When you think about Spike Lee, Spike Lee was when Do Right Thing was on the press run back in the day, Spike Lee was the star of the press run. John Singleton, Ava DuVernay, our black filmmakers are, in addition to the lead of the film, they are the draw. But because Ryan Coogler is very relatable, he talks in his Oakland accent. It's not Ebonics, because I saw a lot of people saying he's speaking Ebonics, and I reject that because he's actually speaking proper English. His accent just so thick, and he got a little stutter. Very relatable. I'm hoping that the way he described and was talking in the film and explaining it sparked people's interest to want to dive deeper into the area of film and television, specifically though film. Child, that explainer also led me to buying a $30 IMAX ticket. You understand? Hey, I said, you know what? You're right. I do need to experience this film on in the best possible theater, watching it on the best possible screen for the best overall viewing experience that I'm able to get. So I bought my $30 ticket. I did. Thank you, Ryan Coogler. And I feel like that motivated people to do that anyway, because I'm going to tell you, when I first heard them talking about how the film was shot on IMAX cameras and it was made specifically for IMAX, side note, it's only going to be available in IMAX theaters for 2 weeks. Then Thunderbolts is coming right after. So you only got 2 weeks to see it in IMAX. It's going to be in theaters long after that. But when I heard they kept talking about IMAX, I was already looking at IMAX tickets. I was already doing that. After that, so I was looking at the theater, specifically City Walk, right? And Universal City Walk. Ryan gave 10 theaters where you can watch the movie within the best IMAX experience. Luckily, there's one in LA, but hell, depending on where you live, hey, you lucked out. You're going to have to go see the 4DX, baby. Regular theater, Dolby. I don't know. So I was looking, but then after that video went viral, I went back to check. The child chicken sold out. Okay, only the boo-boo seats down at the front on the bottom was available. So the explainer worked. Ryan Coogler bringing people back to the theaters, and we have to show up and support to make sure this film does well. It already has a 100 on Rotten Tomatoes. As of this morning, there were already 50 plus reviews, 100, which is unheard of because movies don't be getting 100 on Rotten Tomatoes. And I'm going to tell you, sometimes people start hating and they be purposely trying to tank the rating on Rotten Tomatoes. So the fact that that hasn't happened yet speaks volumes. Either way, Ryan Coogler is a part of the culture. He's a very important part of the culture. And like I just said 1,000 times, I really hope he helps usher in a new wave of creators, because I'm going to keep it real with y'all. It's hard in Hollywood. It's hard. Studios don't be picking up, they don't be buying films. They want to remake stuff that was out in the 80s or 90s, or create sequels 40 years after the fact. They're not interested in black stories unless you can prove that you are a huge asset to the box office. They really don't care about original stories. But that does not mean that we can't keep creating. And hopefully by the time some of these new creators really gain they're like get the wind behind them. Hopefully, some more black creators will have opened their own studios and are able to produce and finance their own projects. So let me know what y'all think. Are y'all going to see it in IMAX, y'all? I'm going $30 ticket on deck. Hit me up. Let me know your thoughts about it, though. You can find me at Cornelia on social media. I'm going to play something for y'all from TikTok. And I feel like it's only appropriate to start this particular subject with this video so we can dive right in with comments and just discussion about it. So I'm going to play it and then we'll circle back. This is Don Lemon, by the way. I'm going to play a clip from Don Lemon on TikTok.
Abrego Garcia. Allow me to introduce you to him. He is currently being held in an El Salvadorian concentration camp, not a prison, not a mega prison, a concentration camp, period. This is about someone who was here legally. They're going to tell you he was not here legally. They're going to tell you all kinds of things. Where's the outrage from the people who care about, from the family values people? Where's the outrage? These people are not following the Constitution. They want to criminalize immigrants so that they can get their way to be able to just deport people, not just immigrants. They want to be able to do it to American citizens. You hear me? Now, I want you to listen to this very carefully. We boosted the volume so that you could hear it. I don't know if they knew they were on a mic, but they were talking. This is the El Salvador president, Nayib Bukele. Donald Trump is saying he wants to deport and send to El Salvador homegrowns, meaning Americans. I believe it's a hot mic. And listen to the homegrown part. The homegrown criminals next. Yeah. I said homegrowns are next. The homegrowns. You got to build about 5 more places. Yeah, that's fair. All right. It's not big enough. So they need to make bigger prisons so that they can do what? The homegrowns. That means American citizens. Will America stand for this? Is this the moment where America goes, you know what? It's time that we step up.
We're here. We have arrived. It is April. It's April. I'm recording this on the 15th. It has taken less than 3 months to arrive to this point where we are as a country in a constitutional crisis. There is unlawlessness. There is no accountability, and that complete immunity that was given to the person occupying the White House is officially in effect. We have arrived. Let me read. I pulled up Encyclopedia Britannica. Shout out to the online version because y'all know back in the day we had books of these in the house. You were rich if you had the whole thing. But I googled fascism because a lot of words get thrown around. People don't know what they're talking about. And I'll give socialism as an example. You'll see people online or social media and in person at political rallies talking about, socialism, he's a socialist. Child, they don't know what socialism even is because people can't read. But let me read this. Fascism, a political ideology and mass movement that dominated many parts of Central, Southern, and Eastern Europe between 1919 and 1945, and that also had adherents in Western Europe, the United States, South Africa, Japan, Latin America, and the Middle East. Fascist parties and movements came into power in several countries between 1922 and 1945. National Fascist Party, most notably known fascist party, the Nazis. Okay, the definition. Fascism, a populist political philosophy, movement, or regime that exalts nation and often race above the individual, that is associated with a centralized autocratic government headed by a dictatorial leader, and that is characterized by severe economic and social regimentation and by forcible suppression of opposition. What is dictatorial? Okay, as in dictatorship, oppressive to or arrogantly overbearing towards others. A form of government in which absolute power is concentrated in a dictator or small clique, We have arrived. In the story about, for some backstory about Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who has been, along with, I believe, close to 400 American citizens or people here on visas who they're claiming are criminals and a part of gangs, but they said 75% of those people who have been shipped over there don't even have a criminal record. He is being detained allegedly in El Salvador. The Supreme Court, as well as other federal judges, have unanimously ruled that the administration needs to bring him back because he was unlawfully taken. The administration said no. The Supreme Court gave a ruling and they said no. The president of El Salvador happened to be in the White House, and when asked if he would bring the person back, bring Mr. Abrego Garcia back, he said no. That's it. He said no. They said no. We also, in the video I played, heard them talking about building more centers and sending homegrowns to El Salvador. In what world or where have we seen this before, where people have been sending people to camps, concentration camps, prisons, and we just haven't heard from them since because we don't have a proof of life. We have no picture. There's no information about whether this man or any of the people who were sent to that prison are still with us. It is also worth noting that shout out to social media for bringing up these facts, that it has been advertised by people associated or running those prisons, those concentration camps, that no one leaves once they're there. No one leaves. There is no possibility for anyone to get out. No phone call, no contact with people on the outside, no meeting, nothing. You can't get out. So if they say you can send as many people as we want because they're always going to have space, how are you going to always have space if no one leaves? What do you think happens to them? And I'm sorry, this can all sound like conspiracy theories, but I think it's beyond time for us to put on our thinking caps. And not talking about the Black News listeners because y'all with me. Okay. When y'all with me, y'all with me. It's time to put on our thinking caps and connect the dots to see this. We have a blueprint of this happening. People did not know what was happening in those Nazi camps until the war was over and troops went into the camps and saw what happened to people. We are there. And I have to tell you, y'all, I am stressed out. I'm stressed and I don't know how to remove myself from the situation because I feel like I have to know what's going on. And I think we all need to know what's going on. But I'm stressed. I am so stressed out about this. Why? Because it's nothing for someone, and we've seen this. This is our history in this country, for somebody to just wake up one day and call us criminals and decide to convict us, sentence us to no longer be alive, like to just decide our faith based on just what they decided to come up with that morning or afternoon. And that's it. So it's not, who's to say that one day the homegrowns that are shipped off are you? Who's to say that it's not going to be you? There ain't no way to get these people back. Who's to say they not those people who are in jail right now? And some people are trying to justify it on social media saying, well, wouldn't you want criminals off of American soil? I don't want nobody who is an American citizen, regardless if they committed a crime or not, to be sent to another country and for their fate to be determined by whoever, whenever, and however. Baby, I want the criminals here on the state. You gotta lock people up, put them in jail here. But we not shipping nobody out overseas. Like no. Y'all, I'm stressed. I'm stressed while simultaneously though realizing that empires fall, and while also accepting that what's happening now is possibly payback for all of the harm that this country has done. And I'm not saying payback to the individual because nobody deserves all of this. We just don't deserve these things. But for a country that started off by committing genocide against millions of people, shrugged their shoulders and said, oh, well, then continue on to bring over stolen human beings and to torture, mutilate, beat, rape, unalive, experiment on, you name it, to do that for an additional couple hundreds of years and then to just shrug their shoulders and say, oh, well. Then after that, continue to enact violence and racial terrorism onto them by essentially doing the same thing in different ways. You listen, at some point, and what Malcolm say? Chickens got to come home to roost. It's unfortunately that though that all of us are in the coop when this is happening. So I try to talk myself down every day and calm my nerves, but y'all, we are here. We're here. Okay? We're here. I don't know what that means in practice on a day-to-day basis for us. I know we going to still try to maintain self-care and do what we going to have to do you know, to make it through because again, it's only April. Okay? It's only April. But yeah, I'm stressed. I'm stressed. What do you all think about this? Um yeah, let me know your thoughts about it. And again, am I just a kooky crazy lady on the podcast? Like, what's oh, God? I can't. Hit me up, y'all. Y'all know where to find me. I'm at Cornelia on social media. Coachella was this past weekend, and y'all, black people's on stage doing their thing now. Listen, Coachella ain't somewhere that I ever wanted to go. I'm gonna just keep it real. Coachella seems like a very miserable experience overall. Y'all, they be sleeping outside. I did not realize. Yes, there are people who be going to Palm Springs. I have friends who over the years have gone to Palm Springs, the area near Coachella, and stayed in Airbnbs or at hotels and have experienced it that way. They've drove into the fairgrounds and gone to the concerts and taken their butt right back to the hotel or the Airbnb. They did that on Insecure. Shout out to Issa Rae. But the majority of the people that go to Coachella, they are camping on the adjacent fairgrounds in tents, their cars, RVs, or they're paying $10,000 plus for the luxury camping experience, which is essentially just a tent with like an a actual bed and a nicer portable shower. It seems so miserable. I've been on TikTok watching the Coachella content, and this is the second year. I watched it last year. And y'all, they look like they be stinking. I just can't. They look like they stink. They outside kicking it, partying all day, night, dust bowl. It was rattlesnakes scurrying up under people's tents. People sleeping in the car. They brushing their teeth with bottled water. The line for the shower was 4 hours long. Mm, that's just woo. I'm 40 plus. I couldn't even do it. I couldn't even do it if I wanted to. However, I'm always tempted to think about or daydream about going under absolute perfect circumstances because there is usually an artist that I know will connect with us and will be a good time seeing. This year, some of those artists were T Pain, Missy Elliott, Meg the Stallion, and there were some others. I think Travis Scott was there. Lady Gaga was one of the headliners for one of the nights. But there's always going to be something for everybody. And most notably, Beachella, when Beyonce was at Coachella, I believe it was around 2016. Fantastic. I need to watch it again on the Netflix. But I just want to quickly shout out those artists for showing up and doing their thing because historically it has been made clear that the Coachella audiences are very difficult because they do not skew towards our demographic most of the time. If y'all remember when Outkast did Coachella, that crowd treated them like straight shit. Andre 3000 gave up on that performance 15 minutes in. He still did it, but you can tell he was like, this is some bull. So historically, we know that it ain't that they ain't gonna give. But it looked like the Megan Thee Stallion, Missy, and T-Pain sets were fantastic. Shout out to Megan Thee Stallion, who had special guests. She was joined by Sierra at one point. Victoria Monet popped out, and the legendary Queen Latifah. I'm not sure if Missy had any guests. I don't think so. But she had all of the props, the gadgets, the balloon outfits, the robot. Listen, Missy gonna give you the animation and the graphics. Okay. And T-Pain was up there doing singing and dancing, auto-tuning it up. So overall, it just looked like a really good time. And I tried to watch on YouTube because you can stream Coachella on YouTube live. There's usually 3 or 4 stages, I think 4 maybe, and multiple artists on each. So if you ain't got nothing going on the weekend, maybe just tune in and watch because you'll get to see those performances in real time from the comfort of your own home, child. You ain't got to be out there with stank ass and rattlesnakes. I can't. So I'm going to try to tune in for real this coming weekend when I can because I got stuff going on. And I did miss because it was so many artists. I missed in real time seeing Missy and Meg. So I'm gonna do my best to try to catch them this weekend and and see what's up. Whoever the special guest, because sometimes they bring a different set of guests each time. But overall, did y'all watch or did y'all check it out? Are y'all even interested in Coachella? And have any of y'all went? Have y'all been to Coachella and did you sleep outside? Girl, they be in their car. I can't. I sleep in my car for 3 nights. In the desert, y'all, in the daytime, it be like 100 degrees out there. And at night, it dropped down to like 40. I can't. Let me know your thoughts about it, though. If you have attended, I want to hear about the experience. Let me know. You can find me at Canelia on social media. On this week's episode, we talked again about Ryan Coogler, his impact in film, and the viral video that hit the internet with him explaining how IMAX works and giving a presentation on the different types of movie theaters we can experience Sinners in. We also talked about U.S. citizens and people on visas being illegally detained and sent to El Salvador without the possibility of return. And gave a quick Coachella update. I did not go, but we talked about some of the artists that performed, such as Megan Thee Stallion, Missy Elliott, and T-Pain. Hit me up. Let me know your thoughts about all of these topics, some or none, and I'll check back with you guys next time. That's it for this week's episode of Black News, y'all. Thanks again for supporting the podcast by sharing, liking, subscribing, and rating 5 stars on your favorite podcast app. To find more information about me, you can check me out at Canelia on social media, as well as on my website, which is canelia.com. And as always, thanks for supporting, and I'll be back next week with new topics and a new episode.